driver and the pit crew, everything is backwards. That's unlike any other racetrack.
Absolutely. The driver's not used to that. And also the pit guys go around to the driver's side first. They generally don't do that. Even the fuel. You fuel the car from the right-hand corner.
Buddy, what's going to be your biggest challenge today with these reverse pit stops?
But the problem is the mental mistake that you make when you take the time to think about where you're supposed to go. And that creates seconds of gap.
Welcome back to Race Day, everyone. Here's another one of those good news, bad news scenarios. The good news is pit crews may only have to do 2 stops today. Here's the bad news. You have to do them backwards. The reverse pit stop at Watkins Glen had pit crews working overtime this past week.
All right, guys, here we go. We'll work on our Glen stuff. 4 or 5 stops. You know what we got to look for. Let's do our deal, hit our marks, keep our tempos right. Wheels tight, full of fuel. We'll have a good day on Sunday. So let's go ahead and get it started. 2 cans here, 4 tires, 2 cans, straight up.
The tough thing about the road course is everything's backwards. You have to focus that much harder. Your natural progression's different. It's more of a mental game than it is actually physical.
He's gonna have to pull it, and he's gonna have to dish it.
Hey, your pull, he goes out of fuel. It's like from here to here, it's like super fast then.
It's definitely way different for a gas man. It's kind of a whole different step towards the car.
Let's just say there's an early caution and you decide you want to come. So what we'll do is we'll actually send him out to pull that tire.
The rhythm's definitely different because a road course stop at Watkins Glen is definitely going to slow down. I mean, you're not going to be busting off your 12-second pit stop.
You just got to slow down a little more and just be more deliberate with each movement.
Just stay and be patient going on that left rear.
I think I was just going here, I think I was just going in at the wrong angle. Right. Don't like, I was going in, I hit it, but it wasn't all the way.
Correct. All right, so watch gun angle, pause, and just stay, just so he has that comfortability right there.
There's a lot of anticipation with what we do, and I was anticipating him hit that first lug nut, which will draw the tire up, and then I can leave. Well, when he missed that first one, I let go, so the tire was just kind of flopping a little bit loose.
As he's making his pull, he's having to stop it, and he's feeling a whole lot slower coming back, and he's diving right in.
Okay.
So if you're there, like when you hit a bomb, it kind of bounces back and rattles. You stay there, settle it for him, we're going to be fine. Much better. Much better on that pause right there. All right, fellas, hey, good practice. We'll work on those small things, and I think everything will come together. We'll work on our out-of-fuel scenarios and our other scenarios for damage repair that are, particular to the Glen. So tomorrow, set it up, and everybody show up and have your game face on. All right, boys, good practice.
All right, that's Matt Clark, Director of Human Performance for Richard Childress Racing, and basically in charge of the pit crews. You got your guys saying all the right things. They know what they need to do. What is your biggest job this week when you got to teach your guys to do something different and you still get the job done on pit road? Track position, very important here, as always.
Well, first of all, let me say our heart and prayer go out to all those folks in Indiana. That really frames up how, what we do here. But anyway, we get our guys ready. I think what you have to do is mentally slow down because we do things differently. It's like, guys, if you're a right-handed batter, and you switch to the left side, if you're not a switch hitter, we have to get our guys to slow down, mentally process it, get the pit stop to slow down in their minds, and then go ahead and hit our marks, wheels tight, full of gas, and maintain our track position.
What do you do with your tire carriers and changers? Do the guys that are on the front stay on the front, or because the car's turned around, do they go to the rear?
Well, I like our guys to stay where they are, but a couple of our teams swap it up. It really depends, for me, how comfortable our guys are. Really, at the end of the day, getting our guys mentally comfortable is as important as anything.
And one other small tweak to the rules that NASCAR came out with, the gas man, who in years past has always been very instrumental in making chassis adjustments, NASCAR no longer wants the gas man to make adjustments to the car while the can is engaged. Is that anything you have to work with you guys on at the shop moving forward?
Well, absolutely, and we got the memo, the bulletin last week, so we're looking at that. I understand exactly where NASCAR is going, so we'll kind of revert back to some ways we were doing it early in the year. But you know us racers, we'll find a way. We'll be creative and try to figure something out.
Well, JR, this guy has a tough job because, pit crews are like offensive linemen. The only time we talk about them is if they mess up. And so they've got an important job here today. Like you say, only 2, maybe sometimes 3 stops to either gain track position or lose it. Matt thinks he's got his guys ready to go.
Man, you got that right, Hermie. The pressure is on the pit crew today. We saw some stuff going on in the Nationwide Series race yesterday where the fuel cans were getting hung up. But, guys, you think it might not be that big of a deal to pit backwards, but in something like a pit stop that is so finely tuned, here you see evidence it can be a big deal.
Yeah, I think it's a big deal from a rhythm standpoint. We heard some in that feature there. Those guys talk about the rhythm. You know, when you change, and when you're the front tire changer on a regular stop, you run around the cars on your right. Here, the car's on your left. So it throws your perception off and where you're at. There's so many things that it's all about rhythm. It's all about timing.
Kenny, what about the driver?
The driver, it's a little different because you come flying around a right-hand corner, and what we do that we're not used to is we're used to coming in second gear. You know, any other race we'd be at second gear, 4,200. This time we go into first gear because on the road courses we use every gear except first in the Nationwide Series. So you get into first gear and it's like, bah, so slow. Very temperamental. You'll see a lot of pit road speeds. You come up a hill, then when you leave pit road, you go down a hill. You really got to stay tuned and not speed in first gear, so it is a little different.
And also new this weekend for the pit crews, that new rule that they were talking about just a second ago. The gas man cannot make adjustments while the gas can is engaged.